Hello, this is a sound test. Can anyone hear me out there? If you can hear me, please respond in the chat box. And it's good to hear from you again. Can you hear me okay? Oh, that is great. Thanks for letting me know. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. It's so great to see you today. How are you doing? Well, I hope everybody's doing good. There are some changes, however, that I feel like I should make you aware of. First of all, what's the title of today's topic? The Tokyo Olympics? Well, actually, I changed it. I changed the topic to sort of some workplace issues because some of my Korean friends have told me about some scandals, some in the news that I thought would be really interesting to talk about. So I changed the topic so that you may find it more interesting. Yeah, so hopefully that'll be okay. I know some of you may have come here hoping to talk about the Olympics. Hey, it's good to see all you today. It looks like we have lots of participants. Great to see you. Good, good. All right, so I'm very pleased to have so many people following along with the stream chat. Now, I do want to let you know that today's conversation will be a little bit higher, a little bit, I believe, like maybe upper intermediate level. However, don't be scared away because I think there's something for everyone. I will take you word by word and explain all the concepts to you. So please be patient with me. I hope that I will help you learn something new today. And that's the point, right? Yeah. No, we're not talking about Me Too. I'll let you know in just a second. I will make everything clear. Okay, so some of my friends brought to my attention something called hazing culture. Now, what this is, it's a kind of workplace bullying that's going on, a kind of, I don't know, has anybody heard of this sort of harassment going on in the news? Especially among nurses. However, I thought that the topic could also be applicable to many industries around the world, not just in Korea. So, yeah, so first of all, I wanted to ask you some questions, and I'll come back here. Okay, so the question is, has anyone ever heard of this word called hazing? I'm going to write it in the chat box here. Oh no, you can hear some noise. Okay, let me see. What kind of noise is it? Let me try to fix it for you. Let me try to fix that. All right, is it any better now? Well, hopefully the noise issue has been resolved. If there's any more issues, please let me know about that. Hey, it's good to see everyone today. All right, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this source is from the Korea Herald, which I'm led to believe is somewhat of a popular news website in Korea. And it's called Hazing Among Nurses Comes Back to Spotlight with Online Post. Okay, so we're talking about hazing. What is hazing? I will explain later. Right now, it is, first of all, the imposition of strenuous, often humiliating tasks as part of a program of rigorous physical training and initiation. Now, that's a lot of words there. I'm going to take them word by word for you. So, these are the words we're going to learn about today. And on the right side, we have the definitions. Now, I'm just going to give you a moment. Look at the words and try to match the words with their definitions. I think this will help you understand what we're talking about. Okay, so if you didn't get all those words, that's okay. We're going to come back to this later. It's going to be sort of a quiz. But anyway, let's go through this one by one. Okay, so yeah, hazing is an imposition. So let's talk about impose. Impose is when you force someone to do something. So for example, sometimes the government imposes taxes upon us. See, this is something unwelcome or unpleasant. An imposition is a burden. Okay? So, yeah, the government imposed a new tax on its citizens. Look at that burden. Nobody likes taxes, do they? Impose. Hazing is the imposition of strenuous tasks. Strenuous tasks require great exertion. They're not easy. For many people, 100 push-ups is a strenuous task. Strenuous. Hazing, the burden of strenuous, often humiliating task as part of initiation. Humiliate, when you humiliate someone, you cause them to feel ashamed or foolish. They lose their dignity or self-respect. So for example, humiliating, if someone were to say, I got drunk at a company dinner and threw up, I feel so humiliated. And isn't it true, if something like this happens, it's really embarrassing. No doubt you too would be humiliated. Hopefully this never happens to you. Okay. You see this meme right here. I don't know what happened last night, but I'm afraid to ask. So hopefully you're never in this situation. Whatever happened, you see a face of humiliation on this guy. Not good. Not good at all. Okay, next word is rigorous. Rigorous is something that's uncomfortably severe or harsh. It could also mean close attention to detail. More on that later. Initiation. The act of admitting someone into a secret or obscure society or group. So, let's take these words one by one. Rigorous. Many people would say that the Sunung is a rigorous test. Well, I used to teach high school, and let me tell you, those students studied all day, every day of the week, to pass their Sunung. It was a very rigorous and strenuous exercise. I do not envy them. Rigorous. Okay, so hazing, let's take all these words together. Let's read it again. Hopefully it'll make sense now. Hazing is the imposition, the burden of strenuous, of difficult, often humiliating. It makes you ashamed. It makes you embarrassed. You lose your dignity. Tasks as part of a program of rigorous physical training or initiation. Okay. So, hopefully this helps you understand what hazing is. Where else can it be found? Well, no doubt we've heard of university freshmen. Hazing often involves excessive amounts of alcohol. I've heard some people tell me stories about how they were hazed as university freshmen. It's like a rite of passage. So in the photo on the right, we see a senior pouring makgeolli mixed with food trash on the heads of freshman students. Who would do this? Why are they doing this? It makes no sense. But that's what hazing is. You're new, and they're trying to initiate you in sometimes bizarre and barbaric ways. So, once again, this is not just in Korea. I mean, we find this in America too. The American university students have done this in the past, and it can cause harm sometimes. Okay, so let's go back to the words we looked at before. Humiliating. Which definition most accurately describes something that is humiliating? Well, it's something that causes you to feel ashamed, right? Impose. Okay, this is when somebody forces you to have a burden you don't want, to put an unwelcome requirement on someone. Next is strenuous. Okay, this is something that requires great exertion. Rigorous, extremely thorough, exhaustive, or accurate, but it could also be strenuous, something that's hard. When you're talking about your research, if you're students, we will expect you to do rigorous research. Okay, rigorous, something that is very accurate. Finally, initiation. This is a ceremony to gain access to a new society. And anyway, today's topic has to do with hazing with regard to nurses, but my question to you, and I want to know what you think about this, so I'm going to ask you these questions by copying and pasting them in the chat box. Okay, so I copied them there. All right, so I'm back. The questions are, do you have any questions about the vocabulary or topic so far? Let me know. And have you ever heard of hazing before? Do you think it's a serious problem? Oh, I see. So the noise is not... Okay, so we're having a noise problem. Let me see. Zing. Oh, that is not good. Okay, let me try to solve that, guys. Sorry about that. Okay. Let me try again. That is so weird. Let's try this. Hello? Hello? Is it any better? Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, please let me know if that is any better, guys. Yeah, did... First of all, let me know if the sound problem has improved. Oh no. Yeah. Well, we gotta fix this, don't we? It's getting even worse. I'm sorry. Give me a moment. Hello? Hello, is it any better? Is it any better, guys? Okay, I'm just going to assume that it's getting better. If it continues to be a problem, let me know. And I'm going to take a look at some of your answers. By the way, thank you so much for your participation. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I hear one person right here says, I think hazing is a disgrace. So I think you do agree that it's a problem, and you have heard of this word before. I'm glad to hear that. I thought that nobody would hear about it. Okay, so one person says it's really serious. Some people passed away because of it. Yeah, it's really a form of harassment, and we're going to get into this later, but there have been some suicides because people feel psychological, they feel psychological pain. It's not good, for sure. Yeah. All right, so maybe I have to speak louder then. Okay. One person says that you think, good, I'm so glad to hear it's better than before. That makes my day. One person says, I think it's going better at colleges, but it's getting worse in workplaces? Yeah, I don't understand how it's happening either. Yeah. Oh, so I'm hearing one student saying that somebody died during a freshman hazing ritual, I guess. Okay, and I'm hearing Luna say that the pin was better than this, right? It was better? Okay. I'll put the pin back in. Oh my goodness, we're gonna have to solve this later. Hello, hello, hello. You can hear me? Can you hear me now? Really? Yeah, you can't hear me, right? Hello, hello? Hello, hello? Okay. Well, I'm really sorry. It baffles my mind. Don't know what happened. Let's just carry on. and I will try to fix the problem next time. I do apologize. Okay. Hello, hello. Okay, good. I hope you can hear me now. Let's move on. Good. Yeah, guys, I'm sorry about the noise problem. I'll fix it later. Just try to bear with me here. Okay, so I just took a small portion of this article that I thought might catch your interest. I'll read it little by little here. It's really short, just like 200 words. Bear with me, please. In an online post, a user who claimed to be a nurse accused a nursing professor of verbally and physically harassing her around 9 years ago. The post alleged that the female professor, who was then a senior nurse, had bullied the younger staff member when both worked at the Chongbuk National University Hospital in Cheongju, I can't pronounce that right, North Chungcheong Province. Sorry about that. She harassed me, hit me, insulted my parents, forced me to pick a candidate for the presidential election, unloaded a bag of phlegm on me, and made me stand in front of a portable chest X-ray machine without a protective suit, laughing and saying, "Take all that radiation," the post read. Oh, really terrible stuff, isn't it? That this woman was allegedly, exposed to. Okay. The nursing professor in question denied all allegations and is said to be preparing to file a criminal complaint against the user. I shared this story in a nurses community earlier, and there were so many people who asked to share this tale with the public. So I am sharing the story here with their support, the user wrote. Taeum, which means to burn in Korean, is a label coined by nurses referring to the hazing culture in the industry that was built up over the years. The term usually involves accounts of senior nurses who, by leveraging their higher rank, harass juniors and other staff members. Reports about hazing culture have been brought into the public spotlight, but not much has changed, which is why some nurses are not so optimistic on how this latest case will play out. A nurse at the Seoul Medical Center died by suicide in 2019 after suffering a heavy workload and months of alleged verbal and physical abuse from senior nurses. Another nurse at Asan Medical Center took her own life after enduring for months of taeum. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So, I just want to make sure you guys understand the main ideas of what's happening here with some true-false statements. True-false. A female professor bullied her student. Think about it. Okay, I'll tell you the answer. No, that's false. Actually, the professor, she's a professor now, but at the time she was a senior nurse, and she allegedly harassed the junior nurse. That's what happened. Second statement, taeum refers to the hazing culture among nurses. True, false? Well, you guys know Korean better than I do. You can tell me, but I think it's true. I think taeum refers to the hazing culture. Some nurses committed suicide because of verbal and physical abuse from their seniors. Well, this is true, isn't it? We saw that in the last part. So, this is some pretty heavy stuff. And now we're going to, just to be sure you understand the passage correctly, we're going to take a look at these words. 5 words. Try to match the definition with the word. I'll give you a minute. Good. I see. I see a lot of you answering this. This is great. Yeah, I should have waited to see your answers. Yeah. Oh my goodness, we have one story here. One time somebody watched a senior doctor yell at a younger doctor, called him a really bad word, I think, because his hands were moving too slow. So it sounds like this isn't just nurses, but also doctors, and I have a feeling maybe other industries as well. Yeah. Thank you for your comment. That is really awful. Okay, let's take a look at these words and then we'll discuss further. Alleged. This is when someone says something, but it doesn't necessarily have proof. Okay, so a lot of times when people comment about abuse they've suffered online, these are allegations. There is no concrete evidence. They haven't been convicted of any crime. It's hearsay. So anyway, keep that in mind. The post alleged that the female professor, who was then a senior nurse, had bullied the younger staff member. Okay, so we don't have a CCTV recording that proves that this happened, but it allegedly happened. So we have some examples here. The man allegedly committed the crime at 2 a.m. No one saw him commit the crime, but that's what we believe based on what people have said. Okay, so what kind of harassment took place here? Well, as you may recall, the nurse was harassed, hit, insulted. Her parents were insulted, which I think is even a bigger deal in Asia. I think in Asia, insulting another person's parents is a huge deal. And she had a bag of phlegm unloaded on her and was made to stand in front of a portable x-ray machine. It's like these are some serious allegations going on here. And yeah, so harass, you guys probably know what that means, harass. Phlegm, this is mucus produced by the lungs. So imagine that in a doctor's office there must be phlegm that's been siphoned from patients. So they must have containers of this stuff. Imagine if somebody poured this phlegm on your body. How would you feel? I mean, it's disgusting. I can't believe it. And of course, x-rays can be dangerous if you're exposed to radiation too often. It can cause cancer. This is some serious stuff. Allegations. A claim or assertion that something or someone has done something illegal or wrong, typically one made without proof. So the nursing professor defended herself. She said that none of this happened. She denied all allegations and is said to be preparing a criminal complaint against the user. Criminal complaint? What could that be? What complaint can she file? Well, I don't know. You guys probably know more about this than me, but it's my understanding that there's crimes against reputation in South Korea. So if someone says something online that damages your reputation, this can be called defamation. And you could actually be sued because of it. So I would imagine that this professor is trying to protect herself by filing a criminal complaint against this anonymous person on the internet. So it's kind of a controversial issue. We'll come back to that later. To coin. To invent or devise a new word or phrase. Taeum, sorry, I know my pronunciation's so terrible. Maybe it's taum. Is it taum? Is a label coined by nurses. Okay. So this is when you give something a name. Industry. The people and activities involved in one type of business. Taum is a label coined by nurses referring to the hazing culture in the industry that has built up over the years. So, no matter where you work, we all work in industries. I work in the education industry. Other people might work in the security or medicine industries. Everyone works in an industry. To leverage. To use an advantage that someone has in one's favor. The term usually involves accounts of senior nurses who, by leveraging their higher rank, harass juniors and other staff members. So what are these senior nurses leveraging? Well, they're taking advantage of their higher status to perhaps allegedly harass the younger ones, I guess. So they're leveraging there. To be optimistic, to be hopeful about something. Some nurses are not so optimistic on how this latest case will play out. So this means that they don't really believe that anything's going to happen. They're not optimistic because this has happened in the past and continues to happen today, and nothing's been done about it. So why should they be optimistic? Okay. All right, so we have these words again. Think about it. Leverage. Well, leverage means to, what do you think? Take advantage of your strengths. Yes. Leverage. Industry. Well, this is the type of business that you work in. One type of business. To coin. Well, when you make up a new word, you coin a phrase to give a name to something. Allegations refer to accusations without proof. Play out refers to how a situation develops over time. Guys, hopefully that helped you out. Now I want to hear more about what you think. I'm going to share these questions in the chat box below. Let's have a conversation, shall we? Let me copy those over. All right. So I'll do the first question. What is harassment? How can you recognize it? Next. Have you ever seen someone harassed in the workplace? Well, already some of you have been sharing some of your stories, and that's excellent. Yeah. In the meantime, while you're answering these questions, I'm going to read over your comments and perhaps comment on them myself. Yeah, as one commenter said, there are really disgusting things that are kept in hospitals, like phlegm and diaper bags. So it's possible that someone who wants to be a bully could utilize these resources to annoy someone. Jang Daewon, yes, thank you for your comment. To harass someone means to annoy them continually, doesn't it? Absolutely. The next question is, which industries have the biggest problem with hazing and harassment? So it can't just be the nursing industry, right? There has to be other industries that are predisposed to this. I want to hear what you have to say about that. All right. Oh, so one person says that he or she saw hazing in their last job, and some people seem to really enjoy leveraging their higher rank in the office. Interesting. And if you don't mind sharing, what industry do you work in? Because we want to know where this happens. Oh yeah, so another comment is talking about how they lost their job because of sexual harassment, which is a different kind of harassment, but also very serious. Yeah, absolutely. It can cause serious problems. Yeah. One person says that the harassment culture is very rampant in every workplace in Korea. Well, that's an interesting opinion. Now, I don't want to make it seem like I think that this is just a Korea problem. I think that this happens all around the world, for the record. But yeah, I have heard stories about this happening to people. So, yeah, really good. Yeah, everywhere. That's right. Yeah. Oh, so athletes. Some people say that athletes have the world's biggest hazing problem. Yeah. Well, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me. It's interesting to hear. Yeah. That's great. I really appreciate all your comments. Yeah, so one thing I also want to know is, has anyone else heard about this story before I showed it to you? Think about it. I'll write another question here. Now, guys, we have talked about how there are anti-defamation laws in Korea. And obviously, it's important that someone isn't convicted of something they haven't done, right? We want to protect the innocent. So that's why my next question is, do you think online allegations can ruin someone's career? These nurses are complaining, are making allegations against their former boss. Does it matter? Do you think it hurts her in any way? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm getting that this is a common story here. Yeah. That's great. Well, I'll start by answering the question. Can allegations affect this person? Absolutely. Um, these days, society is becoming more in tune with the fact that things happen. There's harassment that takes place in the workplace, and we're all becoming more sensitive to it. So, yeah, absolutely. I think that allegations can potentially hurt someone's career, but if they misbehaved, maybe they deserve it, right? um, but what happens is it possible for it to go too far? Can the allegations should allegations be censored? Because I think in Korea there's these defamation laws, and we don't have that in the United States. I think it's a little bit of a unique situation. So if you can explain that to me, I think that would be excellent. Yeah, so one commenter said there could be false allegations also. It is conceivable that someone may have a vendetta. Someone may be jealous. They may want revenge on someone else. So they go anonymously on the internet and they make these allegations to hurt the other person. Now, this is why Korea has defamation laws to protect people in this situation. However, what about the people who are actually guilty? How do we balance between protecting the innocent and helping people who have been harmed have their stories heard? It's a difficult situation. I don't know the answer. That's why I'm asking you. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Jong Dae-won, I think that is an excellent point. Think about restaurants. These days we have influencers and they can say whatever they want on the internet, right? What happens if the restaurant doesn't give them free stuff? Well, if they don't get what they want, what's stopping them from just going on the internet and writing a bad review, even though the service was satisfactory? That's a good point. Yeah. Right, one person brings out the Me Too movement was also huge. I think that was back in 2018. It was a similar situation with lots of allegations. Yeah. Okay, so one person says that there's a drama called Me. is that me saying? Yeah, if you don't mind, you can explain to me more about that story. I've never heard of Misang before. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree that a very intelligent investigative agency would be very nice because, you know, I mean, I think it's important to know the true facts, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah, I sort of agree with what Hansei is saying right now in the chat box. We sort of received social media and we still don't know how it's going to affect society in the long run. It's still very new, you know. So think about in 2000, just 20 years ago. For me, it wasn't that long ago. Social media was nobody really knew about social media. At least I didn't back then. So yeah, the long-term effects of social media have yet to be seen. We still don't know. It's really good. Okay. Jung Dae-won, I will try to watch the show. I'll copy and paste it. Yeah. Okay, one person says it's hard to say. I usually wait until some proofs. Yes, I'm the same way. I want to wait until I see some proof. However, there have been cases of people just being fired right away without any proof, without any investigation. Okay. So we have one commenter that says it should be censored. It's necessary. Hmm. I wonder what the Americans would have to say about that because they don't censor their stuff at all. I know. Luna, I agree with you. When I first came to Korea, it was in 2011. Oh my goodness, almost 10 years ago. And I got my first smartphone. My first smartphone was in Korea, and it wasn't a Samsung like I have now. It wasn't an Apple. It was just it was some cheap phone that could barely do anything. So, you know, for us, it's a very new thing, but I would imagine for the teenagers nowadays, it's like air and water. They've always had it. It's regular. Very interesting how things are changing. Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's true. I agree with you. 일정 대화. Good. Well, yeah. Because of the whole, I had a whole second half planned for today, but because of the whole microphone problem, I didn't get to it. So we have 5 more minutes. Let's just talk together and continue our conversation. You guys have a lot to say. It's really nice. Now, high tech is hard to follow for us, but nowadays they're teaching the children how to program. So pretty soon they're all going to be software programmers. Yeah, Luna, I agree with you. These days kids are making their own games now. It's surprising. Okay, so you're teaching me Korean. I like that. There's a word called 중립 기압박는다. So it means take a neutral attitude for allegation. Do you mean something like innocent until proven guilty? Is that what that means? Innocent until proven guilty? I'll write this here. I see. Good. So let's see what else we got here. Guys, I'm going to give you, I just realized we have actually 10 more minutes. So what I'm going to do is preview what we will study next week. So next week you can come to class prepared. We're going to switch gears a little bit and talk about good habits and bad habits. So yeah. Hello. Songdok, it's good to see you. We had a little bit of a mix-up today because of the sound system, so I'm falling behind schedule. Actually, no, I'm just going to, let's just continue this discussion. I think we have a lot to say about it. Let's see here. Hold on a second. Please continue your conversation. I'll be right back once I get this working. Okay. So, sort of piggybacking off of what we were discussing before, one person said we can't control what happens online, and we shouldn't. We should just try to find out whether it's true or not. So, yeah, this is a popular opinion. We shouldn't control what people say online. Do you agree or disagree? Let's sort of have a debate if we can. Okay. Which title are you guys talking about? Well, guys, I'm going to stop right now because we're getting toward the end of class. I just want to say that it was great to have all your discussion, and you really helped me out today. And I hope to see you next week. And yeah, next week we're going to be talking about good and bad habits, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I will see you later. So, yeah. Bye. You guys are still talking. That's great. Yeah, see you later, guys. Thank you. Bye.